Hello, stamping friends. This is Angie here with our weekly live class. We do it every Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. I am so glad that you can join us today. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and if you do not have a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. I absolutely adore Stampin' Up!, and I have been a demonstrator for nearly 17 years and still having fun. I think I have more fun every year, actually. Anyway, I have a fun and fabulous class for you today. I am so excited for this one. It's a little bit different than something I would normally choose. But I had so much fun with it. And it's with the Nothing's Better Than bundle. Let's get it right. It's if you like coffee, if you like cookies, if you like chocolate, if you like cocktails, it's like the 4 C's. If you like any of those, and maybe they're a little bit of a vice for you, this is going to be a stamp set that you're really going to love. And you have to get the bundle because you have to get the cutouts that go with it. That just makes the cards. So anyway, we'll get on with that in a minute. I do have a couple of announcements as we head to the end of August. We're getting ready to start September, and we always have a little bit of things to wrap up for this month and things that are coming. So let's get to that real quick. This is the last week that you can redeem those bonus coupons. Actually, it's less than a week now. So you just have until the end of August 31st, to redeem any of the bonus coupons that you may have earned last month. You just have to apply those on the shopping cart page of your online purchase. If you want to just purchase from me, you can send me a message or an email, and I'll be happy to help you that way as well. All right, also, don't forget, you might have heard that we have a brand new die cutting machine coming out next month. It is the Stampin' Cut and Emboss. So the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine will be available for customers beginning September 1st. It is a really phenomenal machine. I have started using it, and it's just really slick. So you're gonna love that. You're gonna want to have that. It's gonna make die cutting really easy. I just was really impressed with how nicely it cuts, and the die cuts come out a lot easier than in the past with the other machine. Also, you'll want to have it for embossing purposes because it's going to give you just the right thickness that you'll need for all of the embossing folders that Stampin' Up! Carries now. So that comes out September 1st. Also coming next week, I'm going to be giving you information on Countdown to Christmas. Are you guys ready? Every year, I don't even know how many years I've been doing. I'll have to go count up. But I've been doing Countdown to Christmas, and it's a way to get your Christmas cards ready so you're not procrastinating and doing them all at the last minute. That's what I always end up doing. You would think as a card person, I wouldn't, but Countdown to Christmas helps you out. So basically, if you've never heard of my Countdown to Christmas before, I put together 4 months worth of kits that in each month's kit, it's actually not by month, it's about 3 weeks apart. But for each of the 4 kits, you will have a stamp set and all kinds of accents and things, and also all the pre-cut card stock to create 12 Christmas cards with that featured set. So you'll also have the option to make an add-on bundle with that, so you can get either the dies or the punches that go with it, and that way you can do at least 12 of your Christmas cards each month. Actually, like I said, it's a little bit less than a month because we want to make sure you get them all in before the first part of December. But for each kit, you'll have 12 cards, and you'll just be able to do a little bit at a time, so you're not going to get behind. And you'll definitely, you know what, with everything going on in the world right now, I think this is going to be a really special year for sending cards, because we can't really be around the people and see the people that we love as much as we would want to. So cards are really going to mean something. Let's get started on them now. So look for all the information on that starting sometime next week. I will get that out, and it'll be featuring 4 different Christmas sets from the mini catalog, so look for that. Okay, let's get started with our fun and fabulous class today with Nothing's Better Than. So hold on, and I'm going to, going to flip the camera around a little bit and get it connected, and we'll start with our class. We'll get some light on the subject here. All right, this is our Nothing's Better Than stamp set, and this is such a spectacular set. It's actually one of the sets that's $1 Million Achiever set from Connie Stewart. So she helped design this, and it has 26 pieces, so lots of little mix and match type of things. It's also a 2-step stamp set. So you're gonna have the outline image as well as the solid image that fills the color in really, really quickly. So you can use Stampin' Blends, you can use regular Stampin' Write markers, or you can just stamp with ink pads to get that fill of color. And most of the ones that we're gonna be working on today is gonna give you that. We're gonna work on that with that technique. The other thing I love about this stamp set, it kind of has a retro feel, which if you've ever seen Connie Stewart, that's her style for sure. So this has a cool retro feel. We'll be using some fun retro colors for many of our cards. And I also designed this card class to really let you be in charge of what you want to feature. So like I said, it has coffee, cookies, cocktails, and chocolate, and then different cute little words that go around each one. And you can pretty much fill in the blank and put your favorite thing in there that you like. So keep that in mind as you're looking at the cards today. Maybe you would rather have coffee instead of chocolate, or cocktails instead of cookies on your card. And you're welcome to do that. I've designed these cards so that you can make those decisions as you create the card. Now, the other thing I love about this stamp set is the bundle. You have to get the bundle if you're gonna get it, because you're gonna get these really cute cutouts of all of those 4 C's, as well as the coordinating images. So you'll be able to dance those all over your card and really make some fun projects. There's one additional die cut here that says, "Love you more than," and then you can fill in the blank again with cookies or coffee or chocolate or cocktails. So get the bundle. It's really, really fabulous. You can find that in your annual catalog on page 91. And there's some cute samples up here that you can look at. And if we have some time, I might show you some additional swap cards that I received, because it just really is a fun, fun set. Okay, let's get started. So we'll put this over here. And like I said, we're gonna start with some retro colors. I always think of kind of pastel colors when I'm thinking of retro. So I'm starting with Mint Macron as my first card base. And we'll just crease that with a bone folder. Next, we're going to do some stamping with the coffee image. Now, this is a really awesome tip. I told you that there were 26 stamp images in this stamp set. That's a lot. And I have to say, when you're trying to find blocks to put them on, when you're getting ready to create and you need little blocks, if you don't want to be putting them on and pulling them off all of the time, I found a cute little tip that you can use to help. So I get a block that's a little bit bigger than the actual image, and on the one side I put the outline image, and then you flip it and you'll have the solid image. So it also helps you find the images once you have them on blocks, because if you pair them up, then you know that they're going to go together. So I did that with a lot of my different images. So for example, there's also kind of sentiments that go together, or words and phrases that go together in this stamp set. So this one is "a day without," and then you flip it over, and because it'll say "a day without," and then you fill in the blank. And then this one says "is like, just kidding, I have no idea." So those kind of go together. So I put those on the same set, or the same block. Again, they have the cocktails image, the outline, and then flip it over and you have the drink that fills in. Now this actually has an umbrella and a little either lemon or lime slice. So we did the same thing with the lemon and lime. Here's the umbrella fill, and then flip it over and you have the lemon and the lime fill for that one. So you can see that if you just pair everything up, then oops, then it's gonna work a lot better. I also did the same thing with the cocktails and then, or cocktails and chocolate. Sorry, I'm reading through the camera screen, so I couldn't see it very well. But you can see, so you can kind of double up. And you just have to be a little bit careful when you're stamping not to push down and get too much ink on this side. So you just want to push right at the top of that, wherever it feels comfortable. So that's a little tip that I'll share with you, because it really helped me to keep the images that go together a lot easier to find and a lot quicker to stamp. Okay, so let's start by putting a fun background with this coffee cup. I absolutely love the coffee cup. I don't even love coffee very much, I have to tell you. Coffee is not really one of my vices that I have to have every day, but this cute little coffee cup is just adorable. And I'm just gonna dance these little images across the page. Fill it all in. Now you notice I started and I went diagonal. That's on purpose because I don't want to end up with a great big space somewhere that's not filled up. So I start in the center and I didn't get that one completely on there, but I start at the center and kind of work out, and I kind of go diagonally if I'm doing kind of a random dancing type of an image. So that's our background. Next, I've already cut a little accent piece here in Crumb Cake, and I like to use neutrals with this stamp set because with coffee and chocolate and cookies, it's kind of a neutrally type of a theme, browns and tans and things like that. So I have a 2 by 5.5 piece of Crumb Cake, and then I've already embossed it with the wrapped in texture embossing folders. These are in the mini catalog. There's actually 2 different ones that come together, the little mini embossing folders, and that we're gonna later we're gonna have a mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss come out. It's not quite available yet, but I'm hoping closer to the holidays we'll be able to get our hands on that. But those little folders will fit those perfectly. I should have brought that over so you could see what they look like. Anyway, I have that embossed. I'm gonna put some seal on that. I love this. Stampin' Seal is so sticky. I don't have to worry about that texture, the texture paper, the embossed paper coming off. So put that down the side there. And then I've already cut out a Whisper White Stitched Shapes die in the largest of the squares. I'm going to bring my piercing mat over and we're going to start stamping on that. So I'm going to start with, I already have my little pear here that's on here. I showed you this already, A Day Without, and that's going to go right up at the top. And then we're going to fill in with our C in a minute, and then we're going to add is like, just kidding, I have no idea what it's like. So that is their background there. We're gonna add our coffee, which I've already pre-cut that, die cut that with our die set. And this is, what is this called? Love You More Than dies. Goes with the Nothing's Better Than. If you get the bundle, you'll get both of those. So I already pre-cut this, and I have to say, with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, this cuts so beautifully. Even intricate things. You don't need a precision plate like we used to have with our previous machine. So I love that. So I'm going to just use a little bit of multi-purpose glue, and you could use the fine tip glue pen if you wanted to. Whoops, I'm doing this in the air, which is because I wanted you to see it a little bit better, but probably would be better to do it on the actual work surface. Now, if I wanted to, I could also, you may have seen me do a little tip where you can put a little bit of glue on the silicone mat and then use a sponge to dab a little bit of that glue on there. That works great for this. But I'm just kind of trying to save some time here and not have my surface get all messy and just get this going. So just a couple of little tiny dabs. And there is our coffee. So this is going to be added to our card right here, but let's actually do a couple of coffee accents to go on there. Let's see. We're going to stamp with Early Espresso, and we're going to use that outline image. Make sure you're using a piercing mat or some kind of a catalog or something underneath. This is the photopolymer, and it helps to have just a little tiny bit of firm cushion underneath you so you get a nice transfer of ink. So for our, and I don't think I told you that I stamped the sentiment with Coastal Cabana, and actually let's stamp a little, let's see, let's stamp a little coffee fill with Coastal Cabana. So we'll ink that up and then stamp that right over the top. If you look directly over the top, you'll be able to see it a lot better. Ooh, I did a pretty good job with having the camera in the way. The thing I love about the stamp set, you can see there's just a little bit of white around it. That goes with the kind of the retro look. So if you're not perfectly inside of that image, you're just off a little bit, it adds to the retro feel. I promise you, you will not have any errors. It will look perfect every time. You'll also want to keep your chamois handy, your Simply Chamois, because that way you can change colors really easily. So I'm going to change the fill color to Daffodil Delight. Put that in this one, and we'll keep that out for a second because we're going to add, there's a little tiny asterisk looking element that I absolutely love, and we're just going to add a couple of those. Adds to the retro feel. I love it. So we'll add that around coffee, and then get some of these out of my way so I don't put my hand in the ink. Then we would use our, keep forgetting the name, Love You More Than dies to cut those out. So I already pre-cut out some, and I also did one in Magenta Madness. It's a really great retro look. So just wanted to show you what those look like. So let's add these. I think I'm gonna just keep it with the Bermuda or the Coastal Cabana and Daffodil Delight. So we'll add those. Just a little dab on there and a little dab on here. I also found that the mat really helps when you're using Stamp and Seal. If you are trying to put your adhesive on the back and it's not rolling, it's not rolling onto the cardstock, it might just be because you have a really hard or thick surface, and if you put the piece on the piercing mat, it's going to help give it just a little bit of something to catch on to. All right, look at that. I love how that's looking. Okay, let's finish it up with some dimensionals. So we'll add this to the back. Every time when I am taking dimensionals off, I'm looking at my hands going, wow, I have a lot of ink on there. I could really use some lotion. Some of these people have such beautifully manicured hands, and then mine's just, yeah, just crafter hands. Okay, next I'm gonna add just a little bit of braided trim, braided linen trim. We're gonna wrap that around the side. I love just a little bit of texture, natural texture goes with that kind of, I don't know, just goes with coffee for some reason. We're just going to tie that in a double knot, and then we'll trim the ends. And I like, with this particular trim, I like to fray the edges a little bit. So just pull those threads apart. Just kind of adds a little bit of texture. And then I'm going to pull this down just a little bit. All right, so there's our first card. I love how that turned out. I love the colors, really fun. Also, let's show you the two cool version, also in retro colors. This one is in the Coastal Cabana, and I use Coastal Cabana for the sentiment. This time it says, "You're just like coffee. You make everything better." Isn't that sweet? And I didn't stamp on the background any more than just the little sparkles. If you can see those, just a couple of those, the sparkle images, I should say. There's no bling on here. And then for this one, I used the other texture of the wrapped in texture embossing folder. So you get both of these textures in one package, which I love. So, and this, the coffee is in Mint Macaron and also Daffodil Delight. So just a little bit different, but it shows you how you can use those different sentiments in a different way. Now, again, like I mentioned earlier, if you don't want coffee on here, you could put, you know, cookies, you could put cocktails, and then just put different images. So I love how you can pretty much take the same layout and use whichever images that you prefer to make whatever personalized card you want to. So I don't know if I even mentioned that we do have a class kit. For today, it will be a 5-card class kit, and you'll want to use host code 4KHT3CSV with your order at toocoolstamping.com. You need a minimum of a $35 order to qualify, but I will send you a free 5-card class kit to make some of these cards along with the video. This is the one that you're going to get in your kit, and I'll show you all the cards that you get at the end of the class. All right, let's move on to the next card. This one's fun. It has kind of a fun opening and also in some fun retro-y colors, but a little brighter this time. So this one starts with a Coastal Cabana, just a quarter sheet. So a 5.5 by 4 1/4 sheet, doesn't open. That'll be our background. We'll also add in a little bit of texture with a piece that is 5.5 by 2.5, and it's scored with the Brick and Mortar 3D embossing folder. So I'm going to add that to the bottom. And we're just adding that flush directly at the bottom. Next, I have a little foundation layer, and this one is, let's see, it's 4.5. I think I didn't make it the right size, actually. Nope, I didn't make it the right size. Oh, well, poop. This is supposed to be 4 5/8 by 3 3/8. So it's supposed to go on here. I'm going to have to show you the finished card when we're done because I didn't quite make it correctly. All right, so then we have the folded part of our card is Whisper White, and this one is a 4.5 by 6.5, and then it's scored at the 3 1/4 mark. All right, then we're going to start doing some stamping. So for this one, we're going to work on cocktails. And so we have our cocktail stamp here, and I'm going to start by just stamping a couple of the cocktails, and we're going to do that with Memento black ink. We'll stamp a couple of those, and then we're going to fill that in with color. So I'm going to start, let's start with the Mango Melody. And remember how I put that on the other side of my outline, so that makes it really easy So one of them will be Mango Melody. That looks like a fun, maybe it's like a peach margarita. And then we have a Magenta Madness. So we're gonna go really bright on this one. This one is gonna be a strawberry margarita for sure. That's my favorite. Then we're gonna fill in the color for the, I gotta find it because I moved it around. What'd I do with it? Here it is. So I told you we had this with the lime or the lemon on one side and the little inside of the umbrella on the other. So let's add that color. So there's our Granny Apple Green umbrella. Clean that off. And then we'll have a Magenta Madness, which I already put it away. Magenta Madness little umbrella. So we're mixing it up. Then I'm gonna do a lime on my peach one and do a little clean, and then a lemon with the Mango Melody on my strawberry one. So we have all the different colors that I wanted to feature. So festive. All right, again, you're gonna use your dies to cut that out. If you wanted to, you could color in the glass and make the stem a different color, but I like to just keep it just looking like it's clear. So here are the cutouts. And let me get this laying a little bit flatter. All right, so here are the cocktails. And then I'm gonna start adding some of my words. So first, I've already die cut my cocktails. You can see that pretty well, and that's with Coastal Cabana. So I'm gonna add that eventually. And the other thing I love about this, you can use this straight across. You can also, I've been liking to just kind of curve it just a tiny bit, and kind of gives it another fun look. So this is gonna go right here. So let's add in some words. And the first one we're gonna have is today is a, and you notice how I just keep everything there kind of to position it. Today is a cocktails, and then I have it all on the same block, so I'm just gonna flip it over. Kind of day goes with it. And that's gonna go right under the word cocktails. And then I'm gonna finish it up with another sentiment that says, and I'm pretty sure tomorrow will be too. Haha. Cocktails every day. All right, so let's finish assembling that little card. Let's start by adding our cocktails. Again, using some multi-purpose glue, I'm just gonna put a couple of little dabs here and there, just really small so it's not gonna seep out. And we'll add that right over the top here. Now, a couple of these words for cocktails and cookies, you do have the letter I. So if you want to have that little dot in your I, you have to save it. Whoops, do you see there's a little dot right there? So save it if you can. And if you want, you can also, if you want to put like a rhinestone in place of it, that would work too. But if you want to save that little tiny piece, just put a tiny, 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 tiny dab. And then your take your pick tool is really perfect for that if you want to use the putty to pick that up and then set that right down. You might need to kind of hold it with your fingernail to get it off of the putty. But that is how you can add that little tiny eye. It's kind of hard to keep track of, and you don't necessarily need it. You would still be able to read it without it. So I'm gonna add my little die cuts here, and you could pop these up if you wanted to. I'm just gonna add them with some of the seal. You could add them with glue dots, and I'm just gonna overlap it just a bit. All right. Then this would be a mat onto this, but I cut it the wrong size. So pretend, actually, we could just do a little, let's just make do. We'll just go like that. That looks like a retro look, right? Let's try it. We're just gonna make do and make it work. I'll show you what it was supposed to look like in a minute. I'm liking this retro feel. All right, let's go like this. For positioning purposes. There we go. And then I'll add, whoops, this actual card fold over the top. That's kind of cute. I like it. Okay, we're gonna finish it up with just a tiny bit of sparkle. I love the Artistry Blooms adhesive back sequins, and they match this so perfectly. So I'm going to use one of the yellow ones, and we'll put that maybe up here. We'll use one of the blue ones. We'll put that down here, and then there's kind of a magenta one, and we'll put that over here. And there we go. Today is a cocktails kind of day, and I'm pretty sure tomorrow will be too. And then don't forget to decorate the inside of your card. Put another little cocktail glass and decorate that. That's really cute. All right, let me show you what I had meant for it to look like if I hadn't have cut it wrong. I don't know, I think I might like the other version better. What do you think? Do you like the retro or just the matte around it? Kind of like in the retro look, a little tilt to the background. See, it's serendipitous. I love it. All right, let's look at the Too Cool version. I did the second one in Magenta Madness. I used the same brick embossing folder in the back. I made the card a vertical card this time, and today is a cocktails kind of day, so that was the same. Just had the magenta color for the cutout, and then I put at the bottom, because adulting is hard. So I really love that one, because adulting is hard. You could use that with any of them. Coffee, because adulting's hard. Cookies, chocolate, because adulting's hard. It all works. So your class kit will have both of these versions in it so that you can have a couple of really bright and cheery. It'll be great for the cocktails ones, but they'll also go with cookies and some of the other ones too really well. So again, feel free to make it whatever you like as far as whichever of the 4 C's you like the most. All right, moving on. Our next C is going to be chocolate. So if we're gonna do chocolate, we have to start with some early espresso, which could also be coffee, right? Espresso coffee. So there is our background. We have a piece of petal pink, and this is 2.5 by 4 1/4. And I'm just gonna add that directly to the card base. Oops, I get my hair off of there. Sometimes I shed right onto the project. Okay, we're gonna add this. Let's put it right about here. Then we already have a piece of 4.5, I don't think it's 4.5, let's see. Yeah, 4.5 by 3 1/4, and it is already embossed with the 3D embossing folder. Oh, I forget the name of it. It comes in the World of Good suite, and I embossed the color Cinnamon Cider, another really pretty chocolatey, warm neutral. So we'll add that to the background. All right, and then this time, I already have my die cut for chocolate, so that's ready to go. This time we're going to stamp the little pieces of chocolate, and we'll do that in early espresso. So here's just a little scrap paper, and we're gonna color these in. If you wanted to, there is a solid. You could even use Stampin' Write markers and make each one of these. You could color directly on the stamp, so you can make each one of those a different color. Excuse me. I'm actually just gonna use some Stampin' Blends markers. I'm gonna start with the Petal Pink Dark. And I'm not going to do any real shading here, but if you wanted to, you could make these chocolates look really enticing. I'll just add a little bit of darker color, just by going over it on the edges. But you could do some really pretty shading and really take your time and make this look really appetizing. The second color that I'm using is the Cinnamon Cider Light. So the first one that I did in Petal Pink, it kind of reminded me of those ones that are like white chocolate that are maybe they dyed it a color. And then the dark soft suede for the last one. So a bunch of different kinds of chocolate right out of the chocolate box. All right, so you can see how easy it is to color those images in. Now I already have one that's already pre-die cut that I just used. There is a die cut right in there that you can use. So that's gonna go on our Whisper White die cut. Now this die cut shape is from the Hippo and Friends dies. If you love hippos, it's a really fantastic die set, but even if you don't love hippos, it's still a really good die set. So I highly encourage you to get that one. Okay, and then I'm gonna add chocolate, and again, like I did before, I'm just gonna kind of bend this. I love that, just a slight bend, and it'll look nice with that curve of that label. So I'm gonna use Cinnamon Cider for the sentiment that goes with it, and it's just gonna be, you make everything better. Let's get this positioned a little bit better. Now notice how I'm making sure that I get my sentiment on there before I adhere everything. That's just a little precaution I take, because if you get your whole die cut chocolate adhered down and then you goof up on your sentiment stamping, well then you got to start all over and there's more steps to do. So it's happened to me too many times, so I just kind of wait and adhere it all at the end. Okay. So just some dabs of the multi-purpose glue again. Add that across the top. These are just darling. I just love the look. And coming from someone who is usually decorating, usually making cards with flowers, this is kind of fun for me. All right, we're gonna finish up by popping this up. Oh, let's add just a little bit of texture. I have some Faux Suede ribbon here, and it's in that early espresso color. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of seal on the back and just fold that and make a little kind of a banner tail coming out the side here. Like so. Actually might cut away some of this bulk. Don't need all that. All right, let's add some dimensionals. Pop that right up. And then I'm gonna add a couple more details that will really kind of jazz it up. All right, I'm gonna add some champagne rhinestones because it matches that petal pink so beautifully. And it'll just give it a little bit of bling, a little bit of sparkle. So we'll just float those around. Also, I thought it still needed something, so I was getting out my little asterisk, my little sparkle star. We'll clean that up, and let me find some Crumb Cake. And I'm just gonna add some sparkles right along the bottom, just little tiny ones. Now normally I would not be doing stamping after the fact, but when I was designing, this is kind of how I ended up doing it, because I was like, oh, it needs something. But be careful, it might be better to do this before you adhere everything together, because you're risking it. Like I mentioned before when we're putting this part together. See, I got a little tiny bit of ink right there. That's what happens. That's what happens when you're stamping on it after it's already assembled. So this is our chocolate card, and this will be in your 5-card kit. And let me show you the Too Cool version. It's actually the card that inspired my card, and it was a swap card by Sandra Rizzi, and she used the coffee version. She used some In Good Taste wood grain paper for the background, a smaller piece of embossed background, a Stitch Shapes circle, and then Coffee, You Make Everything Better, and then colored that coffee cup. And I love how it has some little steam coming out. That's another image from this stamp set. And a little bit of the Faux Suede. So she used all the same, I used all the same elements pretty much. I just added some petal pink, a different shape, and kind of a little bit different layout, but that's where I got my inspiration from. All right, we have one more card, and this one should go pretty quickly. What one do we have left? We have coffee, cocktails, chocolate, and now cookies. So I'm starting this one with a Misty Moonlight card base. I already have a background that is 5 1/4 by 4, and it's textured with that Tasteful Textile texture. And we'll add this to our background. And then I'm going to use a little bit of our Designer Series paper from the In Color pack. So I love these. You could use either side. This kind of has a really cute denim-y looking texture, which looks amazing. But I kind of like the circles. They add some fun and festivity. And since it's cookies, well, I don't know about you, but I love cookies. That's probably my favorite thing of all of these things, as far as C. All right, so we'll put that along the bottom. Now, let's work on our focal point. This time, instead of using the die cut, which I love, that's my favorite, but instead of using that, we're gonna just do the stamps, because we do have all of those same words in nice big bold letters with the stamped images. So I'm gonna use Misty Moonlight again with my cookies, and this time I'm just gonna go cookies, cookies, cookies. And then we'll stamp our sentiment. I have a couple of pieces of the Seaside Spray, which, you know what, you guys, this looks amazing with Misty Moonlight. I don't know if you've ever seen that together, but it's like a lighter coordinating color with that, so I love it. So we're gonna stamp that in Early Espresso. And our first part of the sentiment is going to say, today's plan, consume cookies. So this is a 5/8, I believe, by 1, and I'm going to cut it down a little bit. I'm going to say 1 5/8. I'm guessing on that. So we'll banner cut that, and this is going to go, whoops, it's going to go right there. Then we're going to finish that sentiment. Again, I have it all in the same block, so I just need to flip it over. And my second part is, and be awesome. Today's plan, consume cookies and be awesome. All right, now we need some cookies. So let's stamp a few of those. So I have a piece of scrap paper here. I have my cookies all set up with my outline image and also my fill. I'm going to stamp 3 in Early Espresso on my scrap paper. And then I will fill that in with Crumb Cake. Now let me remind you, or let me let you know I should say, in your kit I'm not going to be doing all of your die cutting because I want you to pick the kind of the seed that you want and the coordinating images that you want. So you pick what you want. I'll give you the cardstock, the scrap paper that you need, and you're going to want to buy that bundle anyway. So you definitely will have all the tools that you need to finish the cards. Now, I don't know if you saw what I did there. I have one darker cookie that's in the full strength of the Crumb Cake, and then the other 2 I stamped off. So stamped off, and then it kind of gives you a little bit of a variegated, lighter texture for my cookies. All right, again, those have some dies. So I have my little cookies here already cut out, and let's assemble this card. All right, let's pop this up with some dimensionals. And this particular label shape is also from the Hippo and Friends. I don't think I mentioned that. So Hippo and Friends has a lot of really awesome label shapes. Definitely want to get that. All right, we're going to add this right about here. We're going to add our sentiment right about here. Today's plan. All right. And Be Awesome is going to go down at the bottom. And then let's add our cookies. So the thing I love about these, they all have bites. You could really have them just all showing that they have a bite, or you can cover up some of that. So I think I'm going to have, let's just position, see what we're looking like here. Let's go like this. So we're going to cover that bite up so it looks like a full cookie. And then I'm going to have another one over here. That looks good. Okay. So we'll put a little bit of seal on this one. And then this one. And then we'll add this one. And if you want to, we might actually just put a little mini dimensional under this one just to pop it up a little bit. We don't want it to sag there. So I just got a little tiny dimensional, mini dimensional, and we'll add that right here. All right, seems like it needs something else. I'm gonna take a risk and I'm gonna clean up my little sparkle, and I'm gonna put some sparkles on here too. It just needs a little something, a little something. All right, let's put one here. And one up there. There we go. I love that. That just really finishes it off. All right, so there is our last card, and you will be getting all the parts and pieces to make this one. Again, you wouldn't need to make it cookies. You could make it coffee or cocktails or whatever. Use whatever word you want to. You could use the same sentiments, or you could put something different there. You know, whatever you decide to use those particular two-step images. So here is our cookies, and don't forget to do the inside. I didn't do that yet, but you definitely want to add some cookies or cocktails or whatever to the inside. Our too cool version I did in jade, and I made it a vertical positioning. And this time I stamped the cookies, and then I also added the die cut just to see what that would look like. And I love mixing those. Isn't that kind of fun? I added jade little sparkles. The sentiments are on mint macaron, and I also used just jade for the card base and the background and the designer series paper. So that's our two versions of that. Okay, let's put together all of the different cards that you're going to get in your kit, and I'll tell you some more details about that. So we have our Day Without Coffee, today's Plan Consume Cookies, Chocolate, You Make Everything Better, and then our 2 cocktails at the bottom. So you'll get all the parts and pieces to make these 5 cards. As I just mentioned, I'm not going to be doing the specific die cuts for each of the different C's, for each of the different images that go with the C's. You will get all the rest of the die cuts, like the labels and the backgrounds and the embossing and all of those things. But I'll give you the cardstock, and then you can make it your own. You'll be able to choose which C you're going to want to put on your cards. You have a lot of flexibility, and you'll be able to choose which sentiment you want to put with your C as well. To get this 5-card class kit, all you need to do is place an order at toocoolstamping.com. Click on the Shop Now link, and then just a minimum $35 order using host code 4KHT3CSV, and that will get you the card kit. The offer starts today, and it's going to last until next week. So it's going to be on September 2nd. That'll be Wednesday. And you'll have until then to earn this free kit. I will be mailing those out the following Saturday. So I hope you really enjoyed this fun and fabulous retro kit, courtesy of our stamping $1 million achiever, Connie Stewart. She made this awesome bundle with Stampin' Up! And I hope you really liked it. I had a lot of fun playing with it, and there's so many other variations that I still want to try. So I think you'll have a lot of fun doing that as well. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me this week. I really appreciate you taking your time to get creative with me. Hope you love this class, and I will see you next week. Until then, this is Angie with Too Cool Stamping. Take care.